welcome to T-Sport Bernau. It is exactly almost 3:01 Sunday morning. So I'm still in from this morning, so Saturday. So the reasons why we're still here is that finally our race engine has been finished by MAN. So it was on the test bed on Thursday. You had to let it cool down before they sent it for shipment. So all cooled down. It's now come all the way from Nuremberg. It's about 5 minutes away, so we're gonna unload that. I'm gonna shoot home, get some sleep. I'll come in sort of in 3 hours time, 4 hours time, and we'll talk you through sort of the differences between a sort of standard engine, then the 1,200 horsepower engine that we're gonna lift into the chassis, and also show you what sort of changes we do to make it our engine. So we'll get it unloaded now and we'll see you in the morning. So as you can see, it's pretty much 99% ready to go. It even comes with the ECU pre-built on. The wiring loom is already pre-wired and it's literally just a plug and play system. So the things we have to change from our side is the engine mounts. We need to do custom engine mounts, but we got them all ready. The air intake, we run it slightly different to this configuration. So this is made for like a prototype engine boost pipe, and we run a complete different system, so we changed that piece. But generally everything else is pretty much, it stays the same. You can see the size of the turbo. So this engine is a D26, fully race tuned. The biggest visible difference is the turbo, so that's like a 65 mil opening. On this side, we have to run a restrictor, and this is governed, this is governed by the FIA, and this is a 63 mil restrictor, and every single time we race or qualify with this engine, we have to have the restrictor mounted, and it even gets checked after a few races as well. Then we've just got to fire a clutch and pressure plate on, so that's a pretty simple job to do. And this engine starts life as like a 440 horsepower, 460 horsepower unit. A lot of the parts comes from the marine sector because the marine side is like 800 horsepower. This is kicking out 1,200 horsepower, 6,000 newton meters, give or take a few, and it's most of the time it's like really reliable. So we've only ever had one engine failure in 5 years, so it was I absolutely love these engines. So the biggest sort of noticeable difference, apart from the turbo as well, is the sump. So the sump is like a fully race sort of production, only for the motorsport side or for truck racing. It's the sump, and it's all got special baffles, and we play with the weight so much. So this engine is 980 kilos, and you can see that the bottom of the bell housing is cut, so that's how much we are playing with the weight, trying to get it as low as possible. So we have a minimum ground clearance, and for safety we actually lift the engine by 2 millimeters from the bottom of the subframe. So it's literally like 2 millimeters, and that's just to be safe. If the rubber mounts start to go softer and the engine sags a little bit, that we have some safety there. And we I'll literally slap bang on the weight, so most of the weight is sort of central, so I'd say it's about in this position, because obviously it's got a massive head on it and stuff like that. So and this is probably, apart from the chassis subframe, this is the most heavy single item that we will mount into the race truck. So the gearbox is around 320 kilos, 320 kilos. And the only thing we need to do with this engine is air intake, boost pressure pipe, exhaust, then through the intercooler, and then pipe straight into the air intake. Then it's coolant pipes, so we got feed out, feed in, and then it's just the diesel pipes. Everything else is like plug and play. We got the wiring loom from MAN a few days ago, so that is actually mounted into the cab already. So you can now see this is the sort of running wiring for the ignition switch and a few other bits and pieces, and they literally plug into the bottom there, and they're all color coded so we don't sort of mess them up or whatever. So it's literally a case of put the engine in, put the 3 pins in, or 3 plugs on, connect the battery. That's the other thing we need to do with this. We've just got to put a positive, negative 24 volt from the batteries, and then it's good to run. So, and that's how we can change the engine so quickly, because obviously it's behind the cab, so we can do an engine change in about 45 minutes, 50 minutes if we're in stress and there's we've got a spare engine built up with gearbox. So, and that's sort of generally the engine. So as you can see, it is a common rail engine, and yeah, it's an absolute animal. So we make about 3.2, 3.4 bar of boost as well. So it's yeah, it's a hell of a power unit. So big thank you to MAN as well for getting this to us so quickly. I know they were under a lot of time pressure because they were trying to configure the new engine dyno as well. So it's yeah, but thank you very much for watching. We're going to fire this in now, and then we'll see you in the next video.